When I first started taking my personal growth and development really seriously, I thought that it would lead to some sort of, major revelation. I thought that if I did all the right stuff, if I read all the right books and set the right goals and nailed all the routines, that there would be this moment of ultimate achievement or ultimate arrival. But I discovered, and you probably did as well, that it really doesn't work like that. That the process of our development is, a small shift here, a decision there, and one after another. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about why the vision that we hold for our future self must be large enough to honor all of these small steps along the way. And while real change, whether it's in your productivity, your mindsets, your relationships, or in your spiritual growth, doesn't come in a big single leap, but through our slow, steady developments. And why that kind of vision, when you hold on to it, can really save you from burnout and disappointment and perfectionism. I'm Dr. Alan Johnson, and on this channel, I talk about the mind, well-being, productivity, and change for thinkers, makers, and everyone in between. People have a real tendency to overestimate what they can do in a year, but then underestimate what they can do in 10 years. What I've learned is that most of us really want to believe that the small steps we're taking matter. We want to trust that showing up day after day, even if we're doing it imperfectly or impartially, that it's building something real, and that invisible labor of writing those pages, resisting those old habits, making that phone call, that it really counts. So we want to believe these small steps count. So why don't we? Why do we think that development and change only comes in these sort of big, grand moments? Well, I think that we have inherited a lot of messages from our society that incline us to value fast results and instant feedback. So we like this idea of gradual progression, but that's not what society is valuing for us. We live in a culture that is obsessed with this, that it's obsessed with these fast results and quick turnaround, and that, we're only as good as our most recent achievement. So because of this, we begin to chase milestones instead of mastery. We begin to chase the thing that is most observable to an outsider. And what happens? Well, we burn ourselves out trying to arrive at some sort of destination rather than learning to stay the course and commit to that gradual process of increasing our skills and mastery. So this is why what I'm saying today seems a little bit counterintuitive, that the vision we hold for our future needs to be infinite. The reason I'm saying that is because what we need to re-incline ourselves toward is the resistance toward this idea that the big milestones are all that matter, and instead looking at the individual value we find in that small incremental progress of each day. So that 1% increase or advancement or development that we can make in one day, maybe it doesn't seem like, it's big or earth-shattering. It's not the news that is going to get us loads of likes on social media. It's not the stuff that maybe we'll even tell our friends or family about. But you know what? That 1% improvement day after day after day is going to lead to extraordinary outcomes. This is compounding interest of personal development. So in order to make room for that and to honor those small moments of incremental change and development, we need to allow ourselves an even bigger vision for what our future could look like. And before we dive deeper into this, I just want to say, if this type of stuff resonates with you, if you're looking for guidance on this slower, deeper path of growth, I've created a space over on Patreon, which has a whole bunch of additional content. It has monthly workshops, it has reading groups. And if that's the type of thing that you might find useful, I'll put the link below. Um, we've been sold this idea by the world around us that greatness is a sprint, that success is a hack, it's a shortcut, it's a lucky break, that if we do the right thing, if we behave in the right way, if we're on the right diet, if we use the right notebook or software app or whatever it is, that we will achieve greatness, that we will achieve greatness almost instantly. That's not true. And if you're watching this video, you've probably realized that's not true as well. And you're probably interested in that deeper, more sustainable path toward growth and development. Because what I've discovered and what I keep rediscovering as well is that true growth is really a long distance journey. It's not a sprint. This is why Frodo took 1,000 pages of one of the most beloved trilogies of novels of the 20th century to achieve his growth and development. He didn't achieve that in one single flash. Our own personal growth and development is made up of tiny but consistent movements that nobody claps for. That is what really matters, that 1% growth mindset. If we're being told constantly that all that matters is the likes, the achievements, the outcomes, we forget that how we actually get to those points is by the invisible celebration of that 1% incremental growth day by day. Now, I want to be really clear here because I'm talking about numbers and I'm using these sort of metaphors of metrics and compounding interest. I'm not talking about metrics or self-optimization for its own sake. What I'm really doing here is using these numbers and using the metaphors of compounding interest to refer to something much deeper, but probably less familiar as well, a notion of self-integration. What I mean by that is the process of bringing fractured parts of ourselves back into alignment. And that process of learning how to pause before reacting and how to choose stillness over urgency and how to let go of the stuff that is not yours to carry. Each of these are small tasks, they are small actions, they are small decisions, which are almost entirely going to be invisible to everyone outside of you. But what these do, what these small actions or tasks or decisions do, is they begin to transform you over time. And over time, they begin to multiply. And this isn't about a heroic effort. It's really just about willingness, a willingness to consistently create not just better habits, but better lives. So when I'm talking about making a 1% improvement every day, I'm talking about making those small decisions that are going to get us to a very different outcome. We are moving from burnout, which is what all of the messages around us are telling us to strive for to get those sort of big achievements. We're moving away from that. We're moving instead toward a process of integration. And this integration does not come in a flash. This integration is not something that we can share on social media to get a whole bunch of hearts and thumbs up and retweets and shares. This integration is what builds us a new, different, and better life day after day after day. And maybe you're at that turning point right now. Maybe the goals that once really sort of got you up in the morning, once really excited you, they begin to feel hollow and you're beginning to sort of question what it is that you want to achieve in life, what it is that you're working for. Maybe you're really getting a little bit fed up with swinging between those cycles of bursts of energy and then burnout, and then bursts of energy and then burnout. And if that's you, you are definitely not alone. This type of slow path of incremental integration of the fractured parts of ourselves doesn't get a lot of hype because, well, it doesn't drive social media interest. It doesn't get the sort of the immediate praise from friends and colleagues. But this is really where true transformation lies. This is a path of small initiations. The choice to not numb out today, the choice to keep showing up, the choice to keep moving toward what matters, even when, and probably especially when no one else sees what it is that you are doing. You don't need to know exactly where you're going to end up at the end of this. You don't need to have that perfect vision, that perfect 10-year master plan. All that you need to have is a vision that is expansive enough to hold all of those quiet steps, a vision that is open enough to recognize that there is an extraordinary amount of potential within you if you continue making that gradual, day by day, incremental progress. And that is how we begin to embody living wisdom. And that's how we really begin to build a life that means something to ourselves and to others. So when we commit to that 1% growth every day, that decision we take every day to choose longevity over speed, that decision to choose integration versus disintegration, that decision to choose connection versus disconnection, we're not just progressing, we are aligning, we are coming into better alignment with ourselves and others. And fundamentally, we are practicing a deep sense of trust. We're not placing our trust in the illusion of control, in the illusion that our lives only matter when we achieve big, great, important, visible things. We are practicing trust in the process itself, and we are training our perceptions and our ego mind to recognize that even when it looks like nothing is happening, every single time we choose a small, brave act of integrity that is, aligning with our true sense of self, every time we choose that small act of integrity, we are moving forward. We are expanding our capacity and we are becoming someone who belongs in their own life. So I'm going to leave you today with this question. Is your vision large enough for those small steps to matter? And if the answer is yes, or maybe, even if the answer is maybe, I hope that you'll keep walking on this journey. And if you want to go deeper, the link in my Patreon is below. For those of you who the answer is no, that your vision is not large enough, and maybe there's a way to reorientate your life, your expectations, your dreams, and your plans, then please do subscribe to this channel because that is exactly what this channel is all about. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for honoring the slow path of incremental integration that you have found yourself on. And I'll see you in the next video.